16 notes are just amazing. Check out this extreme rhythmic acceleration. If you have watched some of my videos, you have probably noticed that I really dig Chris Potter's playing. I really love the way he weaves rhythmical subdivisions into each other, using quarter notes, 8 notes, 16 notes and different forms of triplets to make his expression clear. Like all epic saxophone heroes out there, Chris Potter's sound is 90% defined by rhythm and phrasing. Let's check this out and see how you can get this into your playing and get a taste of this great epic modern jazz sound. Looking at these two 16 notes, it seems pretty simple, and it actually is. Chris Potter is playing over the famous All the Things You Are. In the first bar of the theme, he plays what seems like a fill to the fill. He's adding two chromatic 16 notes before that run up. And what I really like is how this breaks up the standard 8 note rhythm. When playing a relatively standard 2-5-1, you can add these 16 note rhythm explosions into the mix. And there are actually no rule for this except hitting the target notes where you want the target notes to be. And you see how I do it. I switch some of the 8 notes out with these 16 note chromatic lines. Maybe you know me, maybe you don't, but I love making exercises out of all these small nice things I find. These exercises really help to get the material under your skin. Here I'm making a chromatic 16 note fill to that little bit of scale up. And that chromatic line actually works with any other line. Here I added it to an arpeggio going down. In this line, Chris Potter expands the 16 notes into 16 note triplets. Making an exercise out of this really helps you learn this into your fingers so that you can apply this all over the place. This is exactly the same concept as the 16 note, but it's faster because of the triplets. When I'm using 3 approach notes, I'm placing the chromatics as close to the target notes as possible. This gives the best leading effect. These sudden extra accelerated rhythms might take some time to get used to and get into your fingers. Take your time, go slow, and make time to fit the 16 notes into your playing. Get used to this sound. But I must say, the outcome is super nice. I've applied the Chris Potter rhythmic approach into a lot of scale exercises and a lot of licks in the lesson manual. Download it on Patreon. Chris Potter just keeps amazing me with his sudden outbursts of explosive rhythms. In this line I of course love the rhythm, but I really also like how Chris Potter encircles the target note. That A on that F7. The sound is amazing with the sudden outburst, the triplet rhythm and the enclosure of that target note. But the real question is, how do you use this line? So what I do, I really compose a jazz lick around Chris Potter's line. Find out on what chords the short line actually fits. Hit those target notes fitting the chords and just go for it. In this lick I really want to focus on that 16 note part. But the line begins with a super nice triplet acceleration and that pushes the line forward. And when we reach that 16 note we actually expect something to happen. But what's unexpected is that Chris Potter moves up that 16 note but picks up that line lower on that A. Again he uses that arpeggio as an enclosure to the target note. This could be compared to that earlier triad triplet line we played. Looking at this line, it's pretty obvious how to use it because you're actually playing the arpeggio of the chord you want to play. But the execution is really heavy because those 16 note triplets are really fast. When figuring out how to use this rhythmic explosion, it's only trial and error. See what works for you, do experiments online and check it out. To give you a great lead on this, I have made lots of exercises and lots of licks covering the different approaches, all added into the lesson manual, which you can download on Patreon. If you like Chris Potter and if you like his playing, I would really recommend you to check out these 2 videos on arpeggios and how Chris Potter turns our dominant into magic. play music, have fun.